Right.
Alright, so my topic is like vaping and how it's really not that much better for you than smoking, and I just decided to choose this topic because it's very controversial, especially in like high schools and middle schools nowadays. So to start off, I'm hoping to kind of persuade you guys to believe that vaping isn't any better than smoking, and I'm also hoping to persuade you to just stay away from like both regular cigarettes and e-cigarettes. So my thesis is vaping is less harmful than cigarette smoking because it exposes you to fewer chemicals. However, it's still exposing you to chemicals that don't belong inside your body. So I'm going to start off with some questions. You guys don't have to answer these, just think about them. But do any of you vape or smoke? Do any of your parents, friends, siblings, or other relatives vape or smoke?
Oh, someone's lying.
And do you have any intention of quitting or know someone who is trying to do so? Heart disease and several types of cancer have been the cause of way too many deaths in the last 12 years. That is why I'm here to tell you more about why vaping is no better than smoking several packs a day. Alright, so like first of all, like what is vaping? Its definition is that vaping is the inhaling of a vapor created by an electronic cigarette or e-cigarette or other vaping device. So I do have a little video, we'll just watch some of it to save time. I'm going to end up contradicting some of the points in this video. It's hard to really find a video that completely shares all of my viewpoints. So just bear with me.
E-cigarettes, also known as vapes, have quickly risen in popularity, with 3.9 million people in Canada reporting have tried vaping at least once. According to a study by researchers at the University of Waterloo, 6.3% of youth reported having used a vape in the past 30 days. With such a large portion of the youth population using vapes, it is important to ensure people using e-cigarettes or vapes are aware of the potential health risks involved. There is still much to learn on the health risks associated with vaping, much like cigarette smoking when it first became popular and more accessible. Now, you may have heard that vaping is a health alternative to cigarette smoking. And this is true as vapes do not contain nearly as much toxic chemical additives as cigarettes do. Nonetheless, most vape juices contain nicotine, which has been shown to affect the development of the adolescent brain. Many studies have shown how nicotine consumption can increase one's risk of psychiatric disorders, as well as having negative effects on cognition function later in life. Nicotine addiction can also cause a young person to become dependent on nicotine, affecting their ability to concentrate in tasks such as schoolwork. It is also important to understand that every different flavor of vape juice contains a unique chemical used to give the vapor its characteristic taste. Although these chemicals are usually safe to consume in foods, it is unknown what effects they will have when inhaled into the lungs. For example, the butter-flavored vape juices used in many e-cigarettes use a chemical called diacetyl. Diacetyl is also known for its use in buttery-flavored popcorn and is notorious for causing a condition called popcorn lung in factory workers. Popcorn lung, also known as bronchiolitis obliterans, is a life-threatening condition and is just one example of how a chemical that is safe to eat is not necessarily safe to inhale. Now, it is important to be clear that although e-cigarette use has its potential health risks, many studies have shown that they are a useful tool for smoking cessation in long-term smokers. A study conducted on 40 long-term smokers found that they were able to reduce cigarette consumption by 50% over a 24-week period. The participants also did not exhibit the usual withdrawal symptoms associated with quitting smoking. With this information in mind, it is important to realize that e-cigarettes are a potential tool for smoking cessation, but still has its associated health risks.
Alright, So you guys kind of get the idea. It just kind of explains like what it is and potentially what it could do to your body. Okay then. So we'll do. Alright, so I'm sure all you guys kind of know how like vaping works, that they're battery powered, they have liquid filled cartridges, and you can pick your flavor. They don't have to contain nicotine, but they can if you wanted to. And then the flavorings are of course accompanied by chemicals so that it does taste the way it's supposed to. So the effects of vaping and smoking on the mind and the body. So on the mind, it's really more like brain development, memory, concentration, attention, learning, self-control, and mood. And then within the body, it irritates and damages your lungs. It raises your blood pressure, your heart rate, and your adrenaline, and it increases the likelihood of you having a heart attack. So I have some studies to share with you. The FDA discovered carcinogens and toxic chemicals within e-cigarettes, putting its users at risk. So for example, in e-cigarette cartridges marketed as tobacco-free, the FDA detected a toxic compound found in antifreeze, tobacco-specific compounds that have been shown to cause cancer in humans, and other toxic tobacco-specific impurities. Another study I have is that the body's reaction to smoking e-cigarettes causes long-lasting inflammation within the lungs, and it can lead to chronic diseases such as bronchitis, emphysema, and heart disease. A preliminary study presented at the annual meeting of the American Chemical Society in 2018 found that vaping could also damage DNA-16. DNA-16's main role is to help the body build different proteins, but there is one condition, it's called deletion syndrome. It's where one copy of DNA-16 is potentially deleted, and that has been said to cause intellectual disability and autism spectrum disorder. And then I have some truths I want to share with you. So vaping really is less harmful than smoking regular cigarettes because it does expose you and your body to a fewer amount of chemicals, but as I said in the beginning, you're still getting chemicals in your body that aren't really supposed to be there. The second truth is that it's still bad for your health. So nicotine is the primary agent in both regular cigarettes and e-cigarettes, and it is highly addictive, so you end up craving it, and then you'll most likely experience withdrawal symptoms, especially with regular cigarettes if you try to quit. And then it raises your blood pressure and your heart rate and all that. Alright, truth number 3 is that electronic cigarettes are becoming just as addictive as traditional ones. Many people who use e-cigarettes get more nicotine than they would from a tobacco product due to the fact that you can buy extra strength cartridges with a higher level of nicotine. And you can also increase the e-cigarette's voltage to get a greater hit of the substance. So really, e-cigarettes aren't the best smoking cessation tool. They might work for some people, but there are also people who haven't been successful from using them. They're marketed as if they will help you, but that really just depends on, I guess, how strong of a person you are. E-cigarettes have not yet received FDA approval as a smoking cessation device, and a recent study found that most people who intended to use e-cigarettes to kick the habit just ended up smoking both traditional and e-cigarettes. So I mean, really, that got nowhere. So in conclusion, vaping and smoking both contain addictive agents such as nicotine, along with several chemicals that harm the human body. It is entirely your own choice and whether or not you participate in these actions, but before you do so, ask yourself, is it worth it?